Hello, witam was wszystkich bardzo moi serdecznie w kolejnym odcinku serii Zagrajmy w The Black Mirror. W rozdziale 4, nie, 5, przepraszam. Tak, tutaj nagrałem 2 rozdziały. Mam nadzieję, że dzisiaj uda mi się nagrać. Dziwne wrażenie, jakby ta gra mi się ścinała. Może to moje wrażenie. Tak samo dziwacznie łazi, ale mniejsza z tym. Tak, Ashbury, ponieważ poproszono nas, żebyśmy tutaj przyjechali, ponieważ mają dla nas informacje na temat Roberta.
It's Samuel Gordon. Can you let me in?
Just one moment, Mr. Gordon.
No wolno to łazi. Znaczy, tak. To już lepiej.
Mr. Gordon, I have terrible news for you. The head
To przez
doctor
deszcz?
is dead.
Tak.
Robert? What are you talking about?
An officer and a detective were here. It's awful.
How did it happen?
They said they found his body at the old lighthouse. James was sitting right next to the body.
James?
He was just sitting there, gazing. He didn't even try to escape, just kept crooning some melody. I never thought that he would be able to kill someone.
Where is James now? Where did they take him?
Where he belongs, back in his old cell. It's going to be his home for life.
So, Robert is dead. But if James had killed him, why didn't he run away?
Możemy wypytać.
I'd like to visit James. Can you let me into the main hall, to his cell?
How do you know where his cell is?
Well, Robert was in charge of this sanatorium, you remember? He told me where I'd find James.
Sorry, I did not realize that. All right then. I will let you in. But after what has happened, I cannot let you go in there alone. I will have to go with you.
No problem.
We can go then. You know the way, as you are so well informed. I'll be right behind you. Oh, not this. Wait here. I must fetch a doctor.
What happened?
Tak. Niezbyt przyjemna. James się powiesił.
James, what he feared most has happened. He couldn't return to this place.
Tak, James już nam mówił, że jeśli wróci do Ashbury, odbierze sobie życie, bo nie chce tutaj siedzieć. To jest troszeczkę straszne, jak on tutaj wisi sobie. Robo, ale nienawidzę tej sagi. Okej, zobaczmy jego ciało.
At least he died quickly.
Grzebiemy.
I recognize that tag. Robert's keys.
Tak, mamy kluczyki Roberta. Musiał je zabrać, kiedy go może zabił. Tu mamy w ogóle jakiś znak.
James wrote my name on the wall. Why did he do it?
Właśnie, ciekawe. Naszą dziurę zalepili.
Someone has plastered over it.
Staramy się ją ponownie przywrócić.
I'll try to get the plaster off. Damn, the blade cracked.
Oj, tak, nasz kochany nożyk się już popsuł. A był z nami prawie od początku drugiego rozdziału.
Ralph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Samuel. Have you come to visit me? Or have you come to visit James?
James? James is no longer here, Ralph.
Why are you saying that? James is here with me. He's always here with me. I can hear his voice. He wouldn't leave me alone here.
I need to ask you about something that concerns James.
Yes, me and Mr. Bubby will help you.
Ralph, when did you last speak with James? Do you remember?
Yes, Samuel.
What did he say? Did he talk about why he escaped?
Maybe, but he was so terrified and was saying such a lot. Was very confused by it all. He kept saying that he hadn't killed him. That's what he was saying.
Robert?
Yes, him.
What else did he say?
He said he knew who'd killed him. That he knew.
The name. Can you remember the name of the person he was talking about?
No. I was confused. He also told me he's saying goodbye and that we would not see each other again. He didn't want to be put in his room again.
Ralph, please, try to remember who James was speaking about.
I don't know. I really don't. He wouldn't speak then, and there was a long silence. I don't like such silence.
All right, Ralph. I have to leave now.
Okay, Samuel. Mr. Bubby says okay.
Ralph was the last one to speak to James, but I probably won't be able to get much more out of him.
Przyszedł Dr. Smith.
What are you doing here? Get out immediately! You have no business being in here.
Okej, wygania nas.
I set off for the old lighthouse on the Sharp Edge Cliffs, the only possible place where I can find out something about Robert's death. So here's where they found Robert's body.
W sumie nasze podejrzenie niektórych co do tego, że Robert zabijał, no nieważne, no. Jednak ktoś inny jest mordercą. Może tutaj też mówi, że to nie on. No tak. Trzymaj
It's
tutaj.
too dark. I can't see anything in there.
Książka? Kolejny.
Another symbol. I should make a picture of this one too.
Zdjęcie, ty nie masz aparatu. Przerysujesz.
Done. There's nothing more to be found out here. I'll go to the morgue. Herman may know something new.
Gra już tak liniowo nas prowadzi do Hermana. Zadzwonimy. Nie, tutaj będzie najwięcej śmierci.
He
myślę.
probably didn't hear the bell. I'll try again.
Może jest na górze, tam
Isn't
świeci.
answering. Strange. I thought he'd be at home.
Wyraźnie nie ma. Idziemy do kuchni.
It's open. I'll have a look around.
A Samuel jeszcze nie wie, że Herman nie żyje. W sumie widział to w wizji.
Where could Herman be? He left the door open and the morgue too. Strange indeed.
Możemy się trochę rozejrzeć. Jakieś zdjęcie mamy. Możemy zobaczyć jedynie na ten stół. Ojeju. To tak sztucznie wygląda. No cóż.
What could have happened here?
Tak. Zobaczmy na głowę Hermana.
That expression in his eyes. How awful.
Fuj. Zobaczmy na ciało doktorka. Tam jest symbol.
Who could have killed him? And why?
Tak, ciekawe.
He's clasping something in his hand. The fingers have stiffened and cannot be opened in their post-mortem spasm.
Będziemy musieli jakoś mu otworzyć dłoń. Tu mamy kolejny symbol na umywalce. Jeszcze jakieś zdjęcia, ale nie możemy ich przejrzeć. Ciekawe czyja.
The fifth symbol.
Tak, piąty symbol, piąta ofiara.
Got it.
Mroczna. Jakaś tajemnicza wizja. Ciekawe, co to mogło być. Zobaczymy tutaj.
I'll turn on the lamp. It's quite dark in here.
Na szafkę.
There are a few plastic bags under the book. I'll take them.
One się nam
There is
przydadzą.
nothing in them.
Bawimy się w detektywa. Zaraz.
Is this what I think?
Sobie patrzyliśmy. Ta nam się przyda.
I'm not leaving yet. I need to...
Nie, no tutaj. Musimy otworzyć mu rękę przecież.
The forceps should do the trick.
Tak. Nie mamy włosów.
That must be the hair of the murderer. I have to put it into something.
Tego.
The murderer has black hair. James's hair was black as coal. I should go back to the sanatorium and obtain a sample for comparison.
No i będziemy bawić się w detektywa. A, ktoś dzwoni.
Someone's ringing the doorbell.
To niedobrze.
I'd better leave quickly.
Nasz detektyw. Fejdłapa.
Detective,
Mr. Gordon, what are you doing here?
I've come to see Dr. Herman and, I know what it probably looks like, but I'll explain everything.
What are you talking about, Gordon?
I don't know how to say this. I found Herman downstairs. He's dead.
What?
I went downstairs and found his body on the table.
That is a serious matter. Are you sure?
I know what I have seen, Detective. His body is lying on the autopsy table, with the head off.
With the head off? I must go there right away. Listen, Gordon, when you found him, were you alone? Was no one else with you?
No one.
Strange how coincidence tends to lead you to a corpse.
He was already dead when I came around.
I believe you. I know who is behind all of this.
Really? Who?
That lunatic who escaped from Ashbury a few days ago. Who else? Who else could possibly have committed such things? You remember that boy, and now Herman.
Disfigured.
A normal person cannot have done that.
That's certainly true, but he hung himself in his cell. I was in the sanatorium today.
So, the murderer's punished himself. Oh well. It's justice, I say.
But you haven't got any evidence.
Gordon, there are several disfigured corpses and a madman was on the loose. You want more evidence? No thanks. Good that you told me about him, Gordon. Now please leave. I've got to go downstairs and deal with this. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Detective. Why would James want to kill Herman? He didn't even know him.
Dokładnie. Po prostu ten
I've
detektyw
got to
jest
get a
taki
hold of a
tępy.
sample of James's hair somehow and compare it with the chunk that Herman was clasping in his hand in his post-mortem spasm.
Bo uciekł człowiek z sanatorium i wariat od razu, no i musimy sprawę ciągnąć. Walił na chorego umysłowo. Widać taki dodany na.
Who is there?
Samuel Gordon, please, let me in.
Just 1 second.
Thank you.
Nie wiem, czemu tutaj jest tak wolno to wszystko przechodzi.
May I speak with you?
Sure.
Sure.
Listen, I need to know something. Where is James's body?
Excuse me?
Don't ask, just tell me where it is.
Well, all right, if you must know. We cannot get hold of Dr. Herman. I don't know what is going on. So we placed the body in the old chapel in the graveyard until he arrives. It cannot stay much longer though.
raczej
It
nie
has to go
przybędzie.
to the morgue.
That's all. Thanks.
Nie powiemy jej, że Herman nie żyje. Po co? Dlaczego? Teraz proszę cię. Także idziemy z tego budynku. No przechodź tam. Naszego palacza. Strasznie teraz atmosfery, nie mam pojęcia dlaczego.
The chapel is locked.
Prawda? Mamy klucze. Nawet te klucze Roberta. Musimy przycielać. Wtedy mu pomóc.
I haven't got time. What do you want?
Can you tell me, why is that chapel in the graveyard locked?
The old chapel. I'll tell you why. It's locked because nobody has any business going in it.
Can you open it for me?
No, I couldn't. Nobody is allowed to go there, like I said.
But you have the key to it, right?
Exactly. And it's going to stay that way.
I have to get into that chapel at all costs. How could I possibly obtain the key?
Możemy spróbować przekupić chyba. Już tyle razy próbowaliśmy przekup na ludziach, że nie udało się.
I
Na tym
won't be
przypadku też
keeping you
będzie
any
miejsce.
longer.
Good.
Są na klucze, będziemy musieli się dostać do tych kluczy. Wejdziemy sobie kanałami do sanatorium. Ciao, Denisa zabrali. Widzimy, że nie zamknęli drzwi. Widać.
I must be quiet so I won't get caught. This time, I wouldn't have any explanation.
Ale nikogo tutaj raczej nie ma.
I'm lucky there's no one here. I've got to take advantage of that before somebody comes.
A więc, do kotłowni wyjdziemy.
How do I obtain the keys to that chapel? I'll have a look around here. I've got to come up with something.
Ja już w sumie wiem, jak je zdobyć. Także podejdziemy sobie tu. Tu jest taka szmatka. Być może to jest nawet ta chusteczka nasza. Kto to wie? A tu jest szafa, w której nie mogliśmy się dostać w poprzednim dziale. Teraz możemy.
Too bad. No spare keys. Just an old pair of rubber boots. Personal stuff. I'll leave it as it is.
Weźmiemy bumiaki może. Okej. Aha, jeszcze tutaj wróćmy. Musimy zobaczyć na ten piec.
The door of the boiler is very hot. I will get burnt. The door...
Będziemy musieli otworzyć ten piec. Do tego celu właśnie będzie nam potrzebna ta szmatka. Wrócimy się do celi Jamesa i zamoczymy tą szmatkę pod tym kranem, pod którym się pewnie mył. Boże, jakie tu są warunki, nienawidzę tego miejsca. Te karaluchy jak tu łażą, fuj. Mamy już tą mokrą szmatkę. Dzięki temu będziemy mogli dostać się teraz do grzejnika. W sumie dobrze, że nikt tutaj nie chodzi. Ciekawe, gdzie Smith jest. Ciekawe, co teraz zrobią, skoro stracili ordynatora. My nie mogliśmy nawet zobaczyć jego ciała. Takie smutne. Czekamy. Damy kalosze.
The smoke from the rubber would go out through the chimney. That wouldn't help.
Co? Musimy zawór jeszcze podkręcić. O.
This should attract some attention. Now, I've got to get going.
Tak. Ile my mu problemów przysporzymy? I znowu kanałem. Będziemy wychodzić. Okej. Wow.
Maybe I went a bit too far with those boots. Hopefully none of the smoke has gotten into the building.
Znowu coś. Ale mamy ten klucze, zostawił je. Bo myślał, że otworzy drzwi na oścież.
He left the keys in the lock. I'll borrow.
Tylko na serio, nie wiem dlaczego idzie, ale akurat mi tak FPS spadają przy deszczu. Mamy tańce,
James's body. I need a little hair for comparison with the sample that Herman was clasping in his hand.
No.
There are 2 big bottles full of chlorine in it.
Sprawdźmy się wszystko.
A broken glass.
Zobaczmy na niego.
I need to use something to cut off a little hair. I don't want to touch him with my hands.
Tak. Na szczęście mamy to szkło. Tak.
Okay, this should do. Where could I have a close look at it? Well, maybe just. I'll go back to the morgue and use Herman's microscope.
Tak, gra tutaj się zrobiła strasznie liniowa. W sumie my też moglibyśmy się domyślić, że pod tutaj tym mikroskopem, ale... Nie widzę, nie.
It's set up properly now. I can use it.
O, to używaj.
It's set up It's...
Dobra. Czyli muszę dostać. Drugie. Detektyw zabrał w ogóle Hermana i główkę. Ciekawe, gdzie jest biały.
The samples differ. Even I can see that. It wasn't James who killed Herman. But who was it then?
Właśnie.
Who's got a black? Morris.
No i tak, Morris został nam. Więc będziemy musieli się wrócić do Black Mirror. W ogóle ciekawe, że ten detektyw nawet nie zamknął to od domu czy coś. Tylko z niego swój łapa. Zobaczymy, czy Morris za tym wszystkim stoi. W sumie nie lubił Henry'ego, mógł go zabić. Zwrócić Williama z wieży. On by podejrzewał tajemnego.
Morris isn't here. Where could he have gone?
Okej. Mamy liścik.
A letter.
Wimadla.
Strange things have been happening around here. It all began a few days after the funeral of old Mr. Gordon, when his heir Samuel returned to
Then
the
his
manor.
heir Samuel returned to the manor. I haven't got a clue as to what's going on, but when somebody finds this note, I'll be far away already. It seems to me that detective wants to frame me for Henry's murder, so I won't be hanging around. I'm going to go while there's still time. Feel free to keep my last month's wage, and don't bother looking for me. I won't be returning. Morris.
Morris has run away. I knew he couldn't be trusted. What if it was he who committed the murders?
No w sumie w liście się do tego nie przyznał, wręcz przeciwnie, widać, że nie miał z tym nic wspólnego, ale mimo wszystko Samuel chce sprawdzić, czy to jednak on mordował. A tutaj mamy jego czapkę.
Morris's cap.
Może jakieś włosy się w niej zawinęły.
I found a little hair. I should examine it closely. Maybe this sample will match the one Herman was clasping in his hand.
Dobra. Ale nim jeszcze wrócimy do Hermana, chciałbym zajrzeć do pokoju Roberta. Także wejdziemy tutaj na górę. Mamy w końcu jego klucze do pokoju. Otwórzmy. Okay.
Robert's study. I feel as though he were watching me even now.